Tennessee players taking the court for the first time through the fans. The magnitude, the gravity of this game such that the men's head coach, Bruce Pearl, found it appropriate to get out the body paint, the face paint, and perhaps, maybe tonight, they can kiss goodbye to Duke's perfect season. Tennessee, Duke. What a game coming up. Welcome everyone to Thompson Bowling Arena. It's Big Monday presented by Bud Light. Number 1 Duke, one of just 2 undefeated teams remaining in women's college basketball, taking on number 4 Tennessee. Hello everybody, I'm Mark Jones along with Doris, Burke. Thanks for coming aboard. Rebecca Lobo joins us in just a few moments. These 2 teams have played 8 times, splitting all 8 games, 4 apiece. Plenty at stake tonight, Doris, when you look at the big picture of things.
Really the back 9 of the college basketball season, so to speak. The last out-of-conference test for both of these teams, both with legitimate national title hopes. The last chance to see yourself against teams you don't play consistently. You'll learn a lot in this 40 minutes, Mark.
Got a great backcourt player in our Star Watch, as well as a great frontcourt player. The good news for Candace Parker, she's taking antibiotics. She missed the last game, but she's back in full effect.
Duke has the best defense in America, facing the most well-rounded player in America. Look for Tennessee to move Candace Parker all over the floor to take advantage of a wealth of her skills. Lindsey Harding, on the other hand, the point guard, the rock, the 5th-year senior, making plays, more of a scoring option for Duke than she ever has been.
She has played her best games in the biggest games, and let's go courtside now to Rebecca.
Well, Mark, the difference maker in tonight's game could be Allison Bales. She's 6'7", a good passer, and incredibly difficult to defend when she can get her 10-foot jumper to fall. But where she really changes things is on the defensive end. Pat Summitt told us that Duke's defense is so good this year because of Bales. She alters shots and impacts how you play. Lindsey Harding told me that she can take more chances and play less conservatively on defense when Bales is in the game. Guys, she's averaging 27 minutes a game, but expect to see her on the floor more than that tonight.
She is really the hub of that Duke defense, number 2 in the nation in points against defense. Here's a look at the starting lineups. Tennessee with just 2 players in double-figure scoring. Sydney Spencer, the second leading scorer, right behind Candace Parker. Meanwhile, for Duke, talked about Bales a few moments ago. Abby Waner, though, actually the team's leading scorer at 14.3 points per game. Pat Summitt and Gail Goestenkors, 2 of the top coaches in women's college basketball. Pat Summitt, the Hall of Famer, over 930 victories. The meter still running. And the winningest active coach in Division I basketball. Goestenkors not far behind at number 3. Both coaches earlier today somewhat downplaying the importance of this game, but make no mistake, if you listen to their players, there's plenty on the line tonight between Duke and Tennessee.
Here's what I want to know. January 31st, the Lady Vols are off. Bruce Pearl stepped up to the plate tonight. Will Pat Summitt reciprocate in kind or in some way, shape, or form for Bruce Pearl?
Bruce Pearl showing up a few moments ago. We showed it to you at the top of the show. Body paint, face paint, all decked out. And we're here at Thompson Bowling Arena, and that's part of the scene. Bruce Pearl and several of his players on the men's team. That's the importance of this game tonight in a nutshell. You look at their record at home in 19 seasons, pretty much incomparable, and right off the opening tip, Hornbuckle had it tipped away by Harding. A nice defensive play. It'll come back the other way. It's
going to be a rare, easy opportunity for Tennessee. I'm sure Hornbuckle, who's one of the better athletes on the floor tonight, would like to have that one back.
Hornbuckle on Harding to begin with. They try and take advantage of the shorter bobbin, and they go inside to Waner for the easy layup.
Well, you could make a case that Lindsey Harding is the MVP, but Waner has so improved her game from a season ago, Mark, on the defensive end and the offensive end.
Extended defense a little bit, Doris, trapping the ball on Hornbuckle. Spencer leading the nation in 3-point shooting, off the mark that time.
It's something you'll see, changing defenses from Duke.
Well, Tennessee talked about transition defense. It's going to have to be better than it was on that sequence, Doris. They've got to get back against this Duke team.
Yeah, Duke likes to push at every opportunity. Waner leaks out and often on rebounds, missed shots. She likes to leak. They've got great speed in the backcourt.
Inside to Candace Parker. Off the mark. The rim Gay clears. And there's that diagonal cross-court pass on the break. Hay inside over Parker, and Duke out of the gate quickly, leading 6-0.
Pat Summitt said Duke does that better than any team in the country. So on the first outlet, everybody's sprinting up floor. They diagonal pass. It's about 30 feet. It puts tremendous pressure on your transition defense.
Duke has performed very well, Doris, against the better teams this year. They are 6-0 against ranked opponents. Bales knocked it away, and here's Harding with another room service layup. It's 8-0. Pat Summitt has to talk things over. A very inauspicious beginning for the Lady Vols here at home, where they have been somewhat unbeatable over the years. And Rebecca Lobo, who's that guy with orange face paint?
Well, Mark, earlier, about a week ago, Pat Summitt and Bruce Pearl appeared on a weekly call-in show together. They were talking about the magnitude of this Duke game. So Coach Pearl looked at her and said, I tell you what, I will come to the game, sit in the student section, and paint my chest. Pat Summitt told us earlier today she would be only surprised if he did not make good on his bet. Of course, she's going to have to reciprocate in some fashion, but she told us, don't expect me to return the favor in kind.
Rebecca, by the end of January, there are probably a lot of coaches who question their own sanity anyway.
Hey, Bruce Pearl just lost his best player, Chris Lofton, for a little bit with a sprained ankle. Nice to see that he's not taking things too seriously.
This is that trapping defense. They extended what Duke does as well as anyone's changed defenses, Mark.
Bobbitt got the layup over Bales, but missed it. Allison Bales did make her alter that shot a little bit as Parker knocks it out of bounds. It'll be Duke basketball. Duke has not missed from the field. They are 4 for 4. Tennessee, meanwhile, Doris, 0 for 5.
One of the things you just saw, Mark, on this dead ball right here was the pressure of the outlet passer. One of the things Tennessee wants to do is slow down the break. One way to do that is on the rebound, pressure that outlet passer.
Here's Bales at the high post. Waner off the screen. Waner will launch some of those and make them. Like I said, that is not a surprise. She will shoot some NBA distance three-pointers. She has 5 quick ones. It's 11-0, and they come up with a trap that bears fruit. Harding on the layup. Waner with the follow. 13-love. The Tennessee fans here at Thompson Bowling Arena in stunned disbelief right now. They stand until their home team scores a basket. It's almost 3 minutes now. They're still standing.
Well, remember, Mark, only 9 teams in the history of Thompson Bowling Arena as an opponent have come in here and beat the Lady Vols. But I'll tell you this, Tennessee knows turnovers have been a problem all season. This 1-3-1 trapping defense, the hot spots are over that half-court line. Pat Summitt knows that. They probably worked on it in practice, and yet her team has not come out and performed against it.
Duke, remember earlier this year, destroyed Maryland at home. Then the #1 team in the country. Sid Spencer double team, and they rip her. Duke defensively showing you why they're #2 in the country, giving up just a little over 46 points per game. That was Tennessee's second turnover. A meteoric rise and beginning here for Duke. Waner kicks it out to Wanisha Smith. 9 on the shot clock. Good patience in the half court. Tipped out of bounds off of Tennessee's Nikki Anasicki. And with 4 on the shot clock, it'll be Duke basketball.
Inside of 10 seconds, you do have some options to go off the bounce. Lindsey Harding, Wanisha Smith, and Abby can all create.
Allison Bales had it blocked by Parker. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Incredible the way that Duke has just come out here, Doris, in the first 3.5 minutes and jumped all over Tennessee.
The confidence level is incredibly high.
And they won't get a shot off on this possession, though.
Maybe that will jumpstart Tennessee. This is traditionally a program that defends and rebounds.
Rebounding somewhat an issue, though, for the Lady Vols this year. Pat Summitt says this was the weakest rebounding team they've had in a number of years. McMahon. And that's going to be a violation against the Lady Vols.
I think she may have stepped on the sideline. That's the pressure. That's the kind of pressure. Why is Duke's defense so good? They play hard, Mark. They're incredibly smart. They change up defenses, and you have the ultimate safety net in Allison Bales.
Nice give and go. Harding off the Bales and one. Lindsey Harding finishing off the give and go on a sweet dish from Allison Bales.
That's a set they work a lot. They bring you 1-4 across. They'll enter the ball into the elbow, and whatever cut they make dictates where they go. That's just a UCLA-type cut off the elbow by Lindsey Harding.
Lindsey Harding plays some of her best games in some of the biggest, most important games. Earlier against Maryland, she had a career-high 28 in their easy win at home. Harding already with 6 points. Nobody could have imagined a beginning like this for Duke, leading 16-0 against the number 4 team in the nation on the road. McMahon, and the lid still on the basket.
I like that kid, though. That's a gutsy move right there by the shortest player on the floor.
Spencer goes inside to Candace Parker. Double team coming immediately, and it's a jump ball possession arrow in favor of Duke. Timeout on the court. Lindsey Harding, lethal in her execution, finishing the feed from Allison Bales, and Duke out in front. Permitting blitzkrieg to start the game by Duke. 16-0, Doris. Break this down for us. What's happened?
Well, we said at the top that Duke brings the #1 defense in the country into Knoxville, one of the toughest places in America to play. We've seen several times this kind of situation. Watch the double team come. Watch. Trap. Long. Look at all those challenge hands up. Then all of these 3 defenders right here. Everybody alert, ready to make a play. And if you panic inside of a Duke trap, turn the lights out. You have got to be poised when you play Duke, because they are going to switch defenses. You've got to be smart. You've got to be patient. You've got to make the easy pass.
Long pass on the press break. And Gay collects it for Duke. Back out to Lindsey Harding. Wanisha Smith. Have to be impressed with the patience and execution of Duke at the offensive end. Foul committed by Tennessee. Gusty, that's her first.
Now, Gail Goestenkors got a call from North Carolina State head coach Kay Yao, who told her after losing in the national championship, what is delayed is not denied. The heartbreak of losing in the national championship game to Maryland after having control in the first half of that basketball game, a double-digit lead. Tell you what, it takes some mental toughness as a coaching staff and as returning players to rebound from that, but they have responded, Mark Jones.
Let's see if Tennessee can get something going offensively. See if Candace Parker can get a touch. They've double-teamed her when she's touched the ball. Gusty missing from the baseline. It's one and done at the offensive end. Bales clears.
This is where they're pressuring the outlet passer. Great job defensively to slow Duke down. Now, don't make mistakes on the backside.
Gay with the jumper. Loose ball. Anisicki up to Parker. Tennessee is 0 for 7 from the field. Make that 0 for 8, not even close that time.
Well, rushing shots, because they've been so disruptive now, Tennessee is completely out of rhythm. They don't even know where they want to take shots from.
Waner got an open look and made Tennessee pay. Let's go to Rebecca.
Well, Mark, in that last timeout, Coach Summit stared at Candace Parker and said, are you going to guard Bales? Anytime she wants to touch it, she touches it. Anytime anyone wants to touch it, they touch it. We're backpedaling. We're not even competing. It's 7-1 on the boards. You can't beat anybody like that.
Rebecca, this is an improbable beginning, as finally Anisicki, with 14 minutes to go in the first half, it took Tennessee 6 minutes to score its first field goal. Incredible.
You breathe in a sigh of relief just to get a deuce over there on the sideline.
The fans finally got a chance to sit down. Here's Bales. And a 3-second violation against Duke. Big Monday presented by Bud Light continuing tonight on ESPN. A great matchup at 9 Eastern. Oklahoma challenges Oklahoma State. Big Monday presented by Bud Light on ESPN, also available in high definition on ESPN HD.
Mario Bogan and James On Curry, one of the best scoring tandems in the country.
A What a great triple overtime game they had last week. Parker out top, still scoreless, although they've only scored 2 points. Hornbuckle. That zone really has Tennessee disconcerted at the offensive end. That's going to be a foul against Waner. That's the other Waner, Emily, that's checked into the ball game, her first personal.
Well, she's gotten an opportunity this year. You've talked about how remarkable what they've done tonight is, Mark. Also 19-0. I mean, Duke had to replace Monique Curry, one of the outstanding players in their history. Misty Williams, Jess Foley. They were replacing some key players.
McMahon. Short. Hornbuckle with the rebound underneath.
One of the better rebounding guards in the country, Alexis Hornbuckle, leads his team in assists and steals, does an outstanding job rebounding the basketball.
Parker throws up the runner a little bit off the mark and out of control. Might have forced that one. That might have been a little bit of a heat check. 17-point deficit right off the opening tip for Tennessee. Harding in amongst the trees. Hornbuckle fouled by Karim Gay.
Lindsey Harding can get into the paint off the bounce mark anytime she wants to, but you've got to remember you've got some pretty good interior defenders in there for Tennessee.
Now, Lindsey Harding, Doris, has been one of the great kind of reclamation and comeback stories in women's college basketball over the last couple of years. 2 years ago, she was forced to sit out, suspended for the entire season because of an unspecified team violation. Came back last year and was the ACC Defensive Player of the Year, and this year has really rounded out her game on offense now. Hornbuckle with the turnaround, tough shot, and Bales clears for Duke, and she's fouled in the process.
Wow, that's a tough one. You know what? They're trying to challenge Bales. This is the game plan for Tennessee, and I like it. They got to stick with it. When she rebounds it, Mark, they're coming with pressure to contest that outlet pass.
Transition defense and slowing down that fast break was one of the focuses of their game plan most of the week. Tennessee came off an impressive win, a real team win against Mississippi State on Thursday night in their last run, a game in which they played without their star player, Candace Parker. Duke is coming off an equally impressive victory against North Carolina State in their last game. Harding out to Bales. She can knock that one down and does.
Yeah, now that's Candace Parker. And Rebecca gave us that report where Pat Summers said, are you going to check her? Now, they may be willing to concede that 15 or 16-foot jump shot to Bales, but she can make that. She's capable.
Hornbuckle lets it fly and knocks down the 3 ball.
Shot selection key for Alexis Hornbuckle. She is not your prototypical great shooter, but on contested one, she's going to give it a look.
There's that backdoor play. Waner underneath for the layup. She burned Hornbuckle. Man, do they pass that pumpkin around well. Has 12 points now for her. Check that. That's her first field goal. Bobbitt back in the ball game for Tennessee.
Twice they've been burned, Tennessee, on that backdoor cut off that 1-4 set.
Parker inside. Got it back and finished. Fouled in the process. Duke right now in education and execution. Bales with the feed again to Waner for the easy deuce. We'll be back after this. Presented by Bud Light. Duke trying to remain undefeated. We go back to 2004. In a tight game, Shira Eli tied the game up at 57 apiece with 48 seconds left right there. And then Monique Curry answered with an easy layup to put Duke up. And Shauna Zolman with a shot from the baseline off the mark. That was the second of 2. And Duke ended up winning at 59-57. One of just 16 home losses at Thompson Bowling Arena in 291 games. And the last meeting between these two teams last year up in Durham, North Carolina. A 12-point victory for the Blue Devils. The series is tied 4 apiece. Last year was the first time in the history of the series, Doris, that the home team had actually held serve. Mind you, the first 5 games of the 8-game series were played on neutral courts. But what does Pat Summitt do now after her team dug itself into an early hole?
Well, she talked about two things that she thought her team needed to improve as the season wears on and goes down the stretch. Number one were turnovers. We saw that problem early. The second thing was board play up, better rebounding. There's an example right there. Good job by Sydney Spencer.
Had a good look at it. Still battling Anisicki underneath, out of bounds. And Duke basketball, but good effort that time by the Lady Vols.
I thought McMahon, she's out of the basketball game, but she came down through the crowd tonight. She was all fired up. She played a few good minutes, was aggressive to the rim. She gave them a positive energy. Now let's see, can this team build off that?
Bobbitt now in at point guard for McMahon. Waner from the wing. Boy, she is firing on all cylinders. She's got enough to feed the needy tonight. 15 points after that 3 ball.
3 for 3 from beyond the arc for her. She came in here leading the team with 32 threes in here.
Bobbitt, body flying, careening underneath. That was Waner that hit the court, and looks like she was fouled on the push. It's against Alexis Hornbuckle. That's her second personal foul.
Her improvement has a lot to do with her work in the offseason. She's leaner, Mark. She's stronger, and she's smarter, Abby Waner.
There she goes again. She has just been turned loose, although this time threw it away. We talked about her ability to move on and forget some of the harsh criticisms of herself in the past. Look down at her shoes. It says next play on it. And that's a problem that she had in the past, being able to she was too hard on herself, frankly.
She and Gail Goestenkors mirror each other in personality, both perfectionists, and when they make a mistake, they dwell on it. You can't do that in basketball.
Anisicki missing. And Waner got to it before Spencer. A 19-point lead for Duke. Blue Devils scoring the first 19 points of the ball game. Bales inside against Parker. Nice ball fake, but she traveled with it.
Wow, did she pick up that pivot?
That's the 5th turnover for Duke, but you see still that Allison Bales is much more confident than she has been in previous seasons.
Well, I'll tell you this, she was a Christy Tolliver 3-point made shot in the Final Four from being the MVP and a national championship player. I mean, her level helped them get to that game.
Tried to get it to Parker. It was knocked away. There's the fast break. Waner missed, and the follow good.
Joy Cheek does a nice job running the floor. She is 3rd on this team in offensive rebounds.
21-point lead. Bobbitt. Hornbuckle made one from that spot earlier. Knocks down another one. And the lead is down to 18.
She's a 37% three-point shooter, Alexis Hornbuckle, where she gets her feet set and there's not defenders flying at her, Mark. She can make shots.
18-point game. Harding. Nice feed by Waner to Cheek. Boy, this Duke team is putting on a clinic at the offensive end. Quick run out and Bales fouls. Alex Fuller running the floor well, so Tennessee able to turn the tables a little bit that time on the Blue Devils. That's the first foul on Allison Bales.
Well, in an ideal world, you get some transition opportunities because when this Duke team digs in on the defensive end, plays either their half-court trap or their 2-3 matchup, or if they switch mid-possession from a man-to-man to a zone, they are tough to score against.
No doubt, as Bales now comes out of the game. Gay comes back in. Below the line for the second of 2, a 75% free throw shooter. One of the more improved players on that Tennessee team from a year ago, missing that time. And the lead is still at 19. Now Candace Parker on Harding. Harding right into the teeth of the defense, and Duke getting the ball back.
Did that touch rim? There was a reset, Mark.
I'm not sure that it did. Harding rejected by Parker, and it's Tennessee basketball.
Great anticipation, outstanding defender. I said this earlier, Lindsey Harding can get into the paint anytime she wants. The hesitation gets her in there, but you've got excellent shot blockers in there, and Candace Parker says, twice in the pipes.
There was a time last year when Pat Summitt questioned Candace Parker's intensity, but not the case this season. She has risen to the challenge in most of their big games this year, most notably the UConn basketball game. Here she is passing it out.
Yeah, Connecticut didn't have an answer for her. She flat out won that basketball game with big play after big play. 30 points.
9 on the shot clock for Bobbitt. Hornbuckle with a nice show and go. And Hornbuckle has her stroke tonight.
Well, she's taking good shots. Up fake, gets the defender away from her. She pulls up. She doesn't go into the heart of the defense mark where shot blockers are waiting.
And a double dribble, Doris, against Duke. Timeout on the floor. Gail Goestenkors' team couldn't have drawn up a better start. Back with more right after this. Welcome back, everyone, to Thompson Bowling Arena. Big Monday presented by Bud Light. Duke, #1 in the country, showing you why. Leapfrogging out to a 19-0 lead to start the game. 7:41 to go here in the first half of play. And Candace Parker and the Tennessee still to get untracked offensively. As we take a look at our stat track, some of the cogent numbers so far. Points in the paint has been a decided edge for Duke. Field goal percentage, rebounds in Duke's favor. And Duke plus 12 on points in the paint. Now, before each game, Duke players have a little discussion with their head coach, Gail Goestenkors, and decide what goals to set in terms of field goal percentage for the other team, offensively, and how many points they want to load their opponents to. Before this game, the number wasn't given to us, but they usually like to take about 10% off of a team's field goal percentage and 15 points off of the point total. That would mean for Tennessee, Doris, somewhere around 60 points for the game, and they're sitting pretty good right now.
Right now, Tennessee is 5 for 20, 25% shooting from the floor. Everything's been contested, and this is a team that is focused defensively. You know what, you can put a lot on their plate, this Duke team, and they're going to respond. And Gail Goestenkors challenges them every single day in practice.
Bales, double team. Plenty of time on the shot clock, and they pull it out. They'll run another set. Bales had it knocked away. 7 on the shot clock for Harding. She's got her do-it-yourself kid out. Day with the jumper.
Can't get much more frustrating than that, Mark Jones. You just played 30 seconds of outstanding defense, and don't finish the job and get the defensive rebound.
And nothing to show for it when it's all said and done. Harding on the wing.
NCAA tournament-like atmosphere in here, both the level of intensity and the crowd.
Bales. They're double teaming her when she catches it, and she got ripped by Parker. Candace Parker still trying to find it.
You've had a lot go against you if you're Tennessee here. You've got 6 minutes to make a little bit of an inroad.
And the ball out of bounds, thrown away by Duke. Candace Parker, Doris, just 1 of 5 shooting so far for a total of 2 points. So she's going to have to figure prominently on offense for them to have any measure of success in that game.
Well, they are facing the largest deficit of the season. 15 was the previous high in terms of what they were trailing by, Mark. Duke has yet to trail at the half this season.
Wow, out of bounds. Duke basketball. Waner coming in. And Wanisha Smith will take a break.
The team, Mark, that gave Duke its toughest challenge was Bowling Green. They come at you with 4 3-point shooters. Their best 3-point shooter, their center. So Bales was taken away from the rim.
Unfortunately for Tennessee, Doris, that's not their cup of tea in this one. They don't play that way. 6 on the shot clock. Bobbitt. Parker with the pull-up. Halfway down and out of bounds. And Tennessee ball. Parker now 1 of 6 from the field.
This is what I'm saying. They can't get a roll here in their own building. They've had so much. Look, and she knows it. She's had a lot go against them. Shots that normally fall. So you learn about yourself. Are you tough enough mentally to respond?
Some pressure coming into this game on Tennessee. Bobbitt kicks it out to Hornbuckle. She's been the lone bright spot offensively, although she misses that time. Hornbuckle, their leading scorer. She's knocked down a couple of threes. Approaching 5 minutes to go here in the first half. It has been all Duke from the opening tip. If you're just joining us, they scored the game's first 19 points. They kept the fans here standing in Tennessee for almost 6 minutes before finally scoring. That time an offensive foul against Duke. It's against Gay, her second personal.
Duke is giving them a window now. Their scoring has slowed down dramatically. It's just Tennessee cannot put the ball in the basket.
We've seen Tennessee a couple of times this year, Doris, have offensive nights like this,
yes,
where they really struggle. Most notably against North Carolina earlier this year. And speaking of North Carolina, Sunday matchup between two giants in the ACC, Ivory Latta, Crystal Langhorne, North Carolina, Maryland. That's next Sunday, 7 Eastern, ESPN2. 14 on the shot clock for Anisicki.
Great deny defense by ACC Defensive Player of the Year last year. Lindsey Harding, she won't let Bobbitt touch it.
Hornbuckle made her own. And her do-it-yourself kit works.
You know what? And that's the kind of player you've got to have against Duke, because they are so fundamentally sound defensively, well-coached, well-prepared, the scouts on the money. You better have some basketball players who can make plays against Duke's defense.
It might come down to that. Parker has that type of ability. Another backdoor cut and feed. Out of bounds, off of Hornbuckle. Actually, it's off of Duke. Alexis Hornbuckle.
That's right, Mark Jones.
She is igniting things at both ends of the floor.
She's got a little bit of a toughness and a swagger. And right now, her teammates could use it.
Splits the double team. Parker with the tip.
How about that move? Everything but the finish. Between the legs from behind. And she is the reason they're making a push right here. How about Alexis Hornbuckle getting down and dirty?
Hornbuckle pumping up the volume right now here in Thompson Bowling Arena. Got to get up on Waner. That's what happens if you don't.
That is a big-time answer.
18, and Abby Waner knocked that one from about 24 feet out.
She is among the best players in the country right now, Abby Waner.
And Parker with a soft touch and roll. The lead is down to 14 points. It sounds absurd, but this is as close as Tennessee's been in a long time.
In Thompson Bowling Arena. They took a standing 8 count to start this basketball game.
Waner again. Oh, my goodness. Enough to feed the needy. Abby Waner from about 27.
Mark, she's got great passion. Her sister enjoying every single minute. This kid worked so hard. And she had Monique Curry ahead of her a season ago, or she would have been more of a scorer.
Abby Waner just took all of the air out of the building here collectively with that last jump shot. Parker with the rebound. 6 on the shot clock. They didn't get a reset. They got to get busy. Hornbuckle, why not? Rebound, Tennessee. They double team and take the ball out of Parker's hands. And Anisicki with a clean look. Hornbuckle pushed out of bounds and fouled. Things getting a little bit more frenetic. Abby Waner doing the honors offensively. As the kids like to say, that jumper is wet. That's like hot, folks. Wet, soaked. Coach loving it. Nothing wrong with Abby Waner's
No. Tell you what, in her vote of her teammates, they said the most competitive player. Now, there's 11 players in the team. They said, who's the most competitive? 10 voted for Abby Waner. They also said she's the most likely to get the technical.
There's Parker trapped. Weaving her way out of trouble and one. Candace Parker trying to answer the challenge for Tennessee. A chance to cut the lead down to 14 points. The foul's on Cheek.
Now, she is a player like Hornbuckle who can create off the dribble, Mark, and she's going to have to make plays like this. Duke is going to deny passing lanes. They're going to try to keep the ball on one side of the floor. They're going to contest shots. You are going to have to make some tough shots to beat this team.
Parker missing an opportunity, a 72% free throw shooter on the year. Now they've got Sydney Spencer trying to stick Abby Waner. And the foul is going to go against Bobbitt of Tennessee. Smallest player on the floor.
Well, what you're seeing is Bobbitt now, every time she's guarding somebody, Duke wants to run whoever she's checking to the block. We already saw him do it with Waner, and Wanisha Smith has more size.
Waner, nice feed inside. Gay had it blocked, though. Hornbuckle. Parker with the turnaround. Spencer. Oh, Bobbitt breaking ankles. Tough pass. 3 on the way. Tennessee showing a lot more vitality and hustle right now, coming to life. They didn't score in that sequence, but showing much more positive vital signs right now, Doris.
There's a better energy about this basketball team. But again, they're just having, trouble, Mark, putting the ball in the basket. So you got to keep plugging, grind it out, grind it out. You've got to make stops on the other side.
McMahon back in the ball game. It'll be a kick ball. 1:14 to go here in the first half. Duke leading by 15 points. That Summit's team fell behind 19-0 right off the opening tip. And Gail Goestenkors, a picture of serenity right now on the sidelines. Not sure how long that's going to last, but their team does lead by 15. McMahon. Spencer's been unable to get those 3 balls off. Parker. Tough shot. Power steering, power breaks. She's got the package.
Yeah, 6'5", face-up ability, excellent ball skills, can handle, can back defenders off, makes tough shots.
Tennessee with the steal. And a chance to cut the lead to 11. Under a minute to go. Parker working on Bales. Got a mismatch there on the perimeter.
I would give it something out. You either settle it here, Gail, and you just say, okay, let's let them get settled, run our play.
It would be a huge moral victory, Doris, if nothing else, if they can get it under double figures going into the locker room. There's that backdoor cut. Smith. And there was a foul called underneath. They got to know, Doris, that each time it goes into the high post, there's going to be a backdoor cut. Anyway, Big Monday, presented by Bud Light, continues tonight on ESPN. A great matchup. Oklahoma against Oklahoma State. Cowpokes, number 16 in the country. Oklahoma leads the head-to-head series 121-87 in a long-standing rivalry.
Yeah, Mark, you're absolutely right. And they run that set an awful lot, and they run different looks out of it. That's that 1-4 high set. They enter the ball into the elbow, and you get all kinds of cutters depending on which side the ball is entered on. We've seen them score now twice, get to the free throw line, and get positive sets off the backdoor cut.
Lead back up to 13. And full court pressure for the first time from Duke. Hornbuckle tied up. Jump ball possession arrow in favor of Pat Summitt's team. 13 seconds to go here. Gail Goestenkors has done a great coaching job, knowing when to extend that pressure, when to pull it back, keeping Tennessee off balance, Doris.
I'll tell you, I watched the Texas tape and the Rutgers tape, and they just flat out put a hurt on teams early. I said, I've been shocked. In Maryland, the same thing. They put a hurt on you early. You better respond. You better come out of the box ready to play against Duke.
Parker double teamed. Plenty of time, 6 seconds. Shot might have been a little bit early from Fuller. Out of bounds. Actually, in a foul underneath. With 2.7 to go in the half.
Be interesting to see as this game wears on. They get the double-digit lead early, and then what is the scoring from that point forward? Because Tennessee seemed to wake up. But at that point, you're already 15 down. Same thing happened to quality teams, Rutgers and Texas.
You expend so much energy in fighting that uphill fight for most of the game. Makes you wonder sometimes how much you have left in the latter stages of the game. 13-point lead, and Spencer going to the line.
Maryland had nothing left Saturday. Rutgers had nothing left. Texas had nothing left. Because the thing about Duke is they maintain that level. They're playing hard for the full 40.
Sydney Spencer makes the First foul shot, a 77% free throw shooter. Spencer really emerging as one of the leaders on this team, a senior. Lead is down to 11 with 2.7 to go. Well, after an absolutely atrocious beginning, and Parker almost had herself a steal. Gail Goestenkors telling the official that you're not allowed to break the plane. Waner. Yeah, you got to guard her from there, okay? She knocked it down from her side of half court. What a first half for Abby Waner. Just 6 points off of her career high, just 20 minutes into the game. So after a calamitous beginning for Pat Summitt's team, falling behind big time 19-0, they're very much in this game, finishing the half on an 8-2 run. And Rebecca's courtside with Gail Goestenkors.
Coach, this Tennessee team averages 75 points a game. What have you done to keep them off balance offensively in the first half?
Well, early on, I think we did a good job with our little soft press and our defense and changed things up a little bit, but they got comfortable, and I'm quite sure at halftime, you know, they're having some discussions and they're starting to hit their stride, so we're going to have to do a much better job in the second half.
What, if anything, would you like to see improved on in the second half?
Well, offensively, you know, we're getting way too wide out. Their pressure's bothering us. We need some backdoor cuts.
Okay, thanks so much, Coach. Mark?
All right, thanks a lot, Rebecca. Our score at halftime, Duke leading 38-27. And, boy, what a beginning. Somebody, Linda Cohn, hit the snooze bar for Tennessee. Back to you guys.
You're right, Mark. There's a long way to go in this game, as we all know. I'm here. They're keeping me company. Kara Lawson, Stacey Dales. We're here for you at the half. And you heard Mark Jones. I mean, it's an 11-point game now, but Kara, Duke got off, scored the first 19 points of the game in enemy territory you're familiar with in Knoxville. How'd they do it? What'd they do right?
Well, I think you have to look offensively. The key player was Abby Waner, and this is a young lady who's probably one of the most improved players in the country, if not the most improved player. She's improved her defense. We've always known that she could shoot it with range. She's got that quick trigger, and Duke did a nice job of finding her. And I love the fact that she's come this year back. She's in better shape this year, and she's really taken it upon herself to be a player that's going to attack and be aggressive offensively for the Blue Devils.
Oh, and Kara, you talk about the offense. Well, this is a very good, clearly defensive team that Duke has, and you wonder why. Why are they so good defensively? They make you play out of your comfort zone. They've done it to every team this year. 30% opponents only shoot against this team. They help and recover extremely well, and that's the key. You help and recover, you cover all the bases, and you've got Allie Bales waiting in the middle. Now, Tennessee, great job getting back into it offensively because they spread the floor and attacked a little bit with their best player, Candace Parker.
Duke hoping to finish what they started and look to go 20-0, the same record as North Carolina.
Monday presented by Bud Light. Thompson Bowling Arena here on the banks of the Tennessee River. Duke jumped out to a 19-0 lead, and Tennessee played catch-up the rest of the way until the break. Here's the voice of the head coach, Pat Summitt, her voice intoning passionately inside the locker room at halftime.
Where we are right now, we're in pretty good shape considering how poorly we played and how poorly we shot. Would y'all agree with that?
Yeah.
And with all the mishaps we've had defensively. So now 20 minutes of very disciplined action on the defensive and offensive end of the floor. That is so important for us. And we got 20 minutes.
All right, Mark Jones courtside along with Doris Burke, Rebecca Lobo joining us in just a few moments. Duke comes into this game, Doris, number 2 in the nation, allowing just 46.8 points defensively to their opponents, and they jumped on Tennessee and set the tone that way.
There's a reason Tennessee shot as poorly as they did. It's this right here. The defense comes in first in terms of field goal percentage defense, which is a better indicator to me than points per game allowed. It depends on the pace at which you play, but even that number is significantly low, and clearly tonight they are right on pace for their season average. They were a stellar.
Sorry, Doris. Abby Waner with a spectacular shooting first half, 21 points. Hornbuckle forces a jump ball. Possession arrow coming back the other way.
Well, what did they do? That's clearly one adjustment. The ball entered into the post, which Duke did a lot in that first half. Hornbuckle comes off the point guard and traps that pass. So will they continue to do that here in the second half?
Hornbuckle, one of the few players for Tennessee that played with consistent passion there in the first half of play. And Asicki underneath, missing the reverse layup.
It's another case of point. Sydney Spencer's pressuring Allison Bales, just trying to slow down the transition opportunities of Duke.
Here's Gay working against Parker. Bales. Gay out of bounds. Duke basketball. Let's go to Rebecca, hear what the coaches had to say at halftime.
Mark, I talked to Pat Summer, and she laughed and said, how do we figure out which one Abby Waner is? Do we need to paint her face? She said there's been a lack of awareness. Sheena and Bobbitt didn't bring the pressure. In this second half, Bobbitt will bring the pressure, or someone will bring the pressure. Offensively, she said we need to get the ball inside, get Nikki and Asicki to play a power game, and get Sydney Spencer some more outside looks.
Yeah, we saw some of that, Rebecca. They went to Asicki on that first possession. At the other end, meanwhile, Harding shoots the jumper right over the top of Bobbitt. Spencer for three, and that's why she leads the nation in three-point shooting. Sydney Spencer knocks one down, and it's a 10-point game. She has 5.
Nice job on the skip pass to get your best shooter an opportunity. Duke was in a zone. Sydney spotted up.
Smith on the wing.
There's the pressure Rebecca Lobo was talking about. Ball pressure. It makes the offense tougher to run.
Harding cut off nicely by Bobbitt. 7 on the shot clock for Duke. Waner. Not that time. Parker clears. Bobbitt flaring out to the three-point line. Spencer for 3. Got it. And it's a 7-point game. Spencer has 8.
Well, the Tennessee team has responded, Mark.
Pat Summitt said, this team has more swagger than teams in the past. We'll find out during the next 17:48 whether that swagger has substance behind it or whether it's just fake swagger. Back with more after this. Tennessee took the court for the first time through the stands tonight. And Doris, I don't know about you, but I don't see Coach Bruce Pearl up amongst the painted faces anymore. There was a quick exit for the coach of the men's team, but he showed up early, made a little bit of noise, and then had to go about his own personal duties.
He's got a challenge in front of him. He's got to find a way to score without Lofton in his lineup.
7-point game in a hurry.
Here's the 1-4 set that was really effective for Duke in the first half.
Harding got free and made them pay.
They run her off that little ball screen. She has done so well this season coming off the ball screen, either for deep penetration or the jump shot.
Spencer walked with it. That's the 7th turnover of the ball game for Tennessee.
Couldn't have turned out better out of the locker room for Tennessee. Everything Rebecca talked about with Pat Summitt. Number 1, Bobbitt doing a better job with Lindsey Harding. And Hornbuckle has the job now. And then shot opportunities for Sydney Spencer. She's drained 2 threes. So good start for Tennessee.
Harding back the other way. Wanisha Smith trying to post up the shorter Bobbitt. She's right over the top of her. Out of bounds, Duke basketball. You know, sometimes, Doris, if you're not really a post-up player and then try and post you up like Wanisha Smith is, it doesn't always work out.
It doesn't always work, but clearly that's a part of their game plan because they are inverting their guards, whoever Bobbitt's checking.
Gay blocked by Parker. Lots of contact, no foul. And the foul as Bobbitt got the loose ball. Gail Goestenkors irate there on the sidelines. Big Money presented by Bud Light continues tonight on ESPN. A great matchup between number 16 Oklahoma State and Oklahoma. Ariel Bogan averaging 21.4 points per game. James on Curry playing well. 9-point game. Bobbitt steps back behind the three-point line. Bobbitt, Pat Summitt's first junior college player in a number of years, made the shot, but at the other end, Smith counters. Bobbitt never made it back across half court.
She's back up on her feet and moving quickly again. She's like the Energizer Bunny.
Stepped out of bounds that time.
Throughout the course of this Tennessee run, and it's extended back to the first half, what you haven't seen is any crack in the persona of Duke. They have remained calm. They're trying to go about their business. They've taken the hit.
That's a great point, Doris. This is a team that is stone-faced from start to finish. And poised along the way, Smith being dogged by Bobbitt. 10 on the shot clock. Tough pass inside for Gay, out of bounds, but it's still Duke basketball.
Loving the defensive intensity of the Tennessee Lady Vols. They're pressuring the basketball. People off the ball are up in passing lanes. The posts are active. They're looking to help and recover.
Alex Fuller checks into the game for Tennessee. Waner, a heat check. Not as hot as she was in the first half. You and I had a chance to shake hands with her before the game. There might be a reason behind her accurate shooting. Her hands are incredibly large for someone that size.
Yeah, she's got big mitts, size 12. She said, you know, I need to be taller than 5'10".
Parker off the mark, and Asicki with the rebound. Yeah, with her hands, she's got the hands of somebody 6'4".
Hands and feet, size 12 for somebody, 5'10". She said, I should be at least 6 feet.
But she's still growing into the rest of herself. 8-point game. Parker forced one up and drew the foul. Timeout on the floor. And one of the various weapons that Tennessee has in their use is Sid Spencer, the leading shooter in the country in three-pointers.
To 36. I'm here with Coach Bruce Pearl. Now, you've changed up a little bit. Started the game, face paint, chest painted in the student section. Why?
Rebecca, Coach Summitt's been doing this for 33 years, and she said that last year at Duke, it was the most difficult environment she'd ever coached in. And so for about a week, I've been kind of talking to our fans about, you know, I just might go in the student section and paint my chest. We got to do something special to make this place a tough environment for Duke, and I kind of had to follow through on that promise.
Well, you have a great relationship with Pat Summitt. What was it like when you first came in last season? What kind of advice was she able to give you?
You understand, she's the greatest person I've ever met. She is giving, she is kind, she's intelligent, she's bright. Success has not changed her, Rebecca. That's the most amazing thing. Pat Summitt is hungry now as she won when she first got started.
Your leading source, Chris Lofton, carried off in the last game with an ankle sprain. What's his prognosis?
Well, he's going to be out for the next game, and hopefully we'll get him back in a week or two. It's a sprain. He's a special scorer, but we're seeing some special players out here tonight. This is a wonderful, wonderful basketball game, and I think the Vols are right in it. To be down 19 and to still, you know, I know down 8 right now, they've got a lot of energy left.
All right, Coach, thanks so much. Mark Jones, the Incredible Hulk, has turned back into Bruce Banner or Bruce Pearl in this case.
Yeah, tough to tell the difference. Thanks, Rebecca. That was a quick change artist, Coach Bruce Pearl. Good news that Lofton will be out for just one game, and he is one of the best shooters in the country if you haven't seen him. And it's interesting that he and Sid Spencer from the women's team often work out together and do shooting drills together. Tennessee on the offensive end right now. Hornbuckle. Hornbuckle on the baseline. Got airborne, out of control, jump ball, possession arrow. It'll be Duke basketball. Well, Duke jumped out to a 19-0 lead. But since that time, they've cooled off a little bit to 5 of 16 after the first 30 points.
We've talked about Duke having an impact on Tennessee's field goal percentage. After that initial 19-0 run, you saw a Tennessee team wake up a little bit. Their defensive intensity was outstanding.
Tough pass that time on the backdoor cut. Waner couldn't find the handle. Tennessee basketball, the 13th turnover of the ball game for Duke.
Well, that was a play that was effective in the first half. Clearly an adjustment. The pass a little bit too far out in front of Abby Waner, but the defense better. The pass had to be further out because there was a contest hand in the passing lane.
Here's Parker out top. Gage is laying off of her. Parker goes into the post. Spencer drawing the foul, and she'll get a couple of free throws. That one's going to go against Waner. That's her first personal.
That's why she's a tough match. I mean, Abby Waner is a guard with very good size, 5'10". but you're looking at a player who's playing the 2 and 3 spots for Tennessee, and she's 6'3".
Spencer makes the first of 2. 9 points on 2 for 4 from downtown. 3 rebounds also for Sydney Spencer as Waner comes out of the ball game and Waner comes into the ball game.
One of the things Pat Summitt told Sydney Spencer is that she needed to be Shauna Zolman. She needed to be assertive on the offensive end. Look for her shots. You know, Pat Summitt's one person who I don't think if Sydney took a bad shot, she'd be all that upset because she would be doing it so rarely.
Harding. I said Waner out and Waner in. It's Emily Waner that's in the ball game now. And the 2, the sister of Abby, into Bales on the blocks, and there's going to be contact and a foul. I think the foul came on the help. It's against Nikki Anisicki. That's her first personal foul.
So Tennessee went soft zone pressure, Mark, extended it to about the half-court line, and then went into a man-to-man. You know, that was going to be a tough shot for Bales.
Right.
Great aggressive defense, but do it without fouling, because it was going to be a tough one to make.
Talked about Allison Bales, Doris, playing some of her better games in the big games. You think back to, you mentioned it, last year's Final Four, arguably the MVP for Duke in that tournament. Earlier this year in a win against Maryland at home, 18 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 blocks.
Yes. A breakout game for her to shoot.
Well, they beat the pressure down court, and Tennessee got an easy one. It's a 6-point game once again. Fuller.
Mark, don't you sense that they're a more composed team in the second half, Tennessee?
And Wanisha Smith gets it right back. Here's Candace Parker on the move. Fuller from the baseline. Got it. And that's a 3. The lead is down to 5. Teams trading baskets here in the last few trips down the floor.
Yeah, Tennessee a lot more patient and translating to better percentages. 2 for 8 from 3. They were rushing those threes, taking them out of the context of their offensive first half. Here, it's all come within the context of their offensive framework.
Yeah, much more flow. Bales kicks it back out. 6 on the shot clock for Harding. Parker skying for the rebound. Hands it off to Hornbuckle. Parker. Anisicki fighting Bales, and Bales forces the jump ball, but it's Tennessee basketball in the possession area.
Good defense against Parker. She does not shoot the 3 ball, so you're soft if she's beyond that arc. As she comes at you, then you get a little bit tighter. They were there in contest, Mark.
I was speaking with Anthony Parker, her older brother, member of the Toronto Raptors, a few weeks back, and he says that that's the one part of her game that they've talked about her improving on, is her perimeter game, especially her 3-point shooting. Spencer had it partially blocked with Bales right in her grill. Waner with a nice feed up court. Wide open, Harding couldn't find it. Hornbuckle has that look. Bales had a different thought, though.
Wouldn't be surprised if Alexis maybe comes up. Pat Summitt talking to her right now saying, calm down. Looks like she took a little pop, but what have we seen from her here in the second half? The exact opposite of the first half. She's taken tough shots. She's gotten into the lane off her feet. She challenges 6-7. Settle down, Alexis, get back to what you were doing in that first half.
First half, she knocked down a couple of 3-pointers. Timely shots. As we approach 12 minutes to go here in the second half. 5-point basketball game, and a game in which Tennessee, folks, if you're just joining us, led 19-0 to open it up.
Duke had the 19-0 lead. Tennessee responded.
Check that, yeah. 3 on the shot clock. Anisicki with a 9-1-1 shot. And they come up empty on this possession. Gail Goestenkors' team trying to hold off the hard-charging Volunteers. Of women's college basketball, you don't have to look any further than the ACC. Maryland, North Carolina. Tonight you're getting a good look at Duke. And that is where the road to the national championship at some point you would think would run through one of those 3 aforementioned teams. And on Sunday at 7 o'clock, number 2 North Carolina taking on number 3 Maryland. North Carolina, one of the 2 remaining undefeated teams in women's college basketball, themselves and Duke. Maryland with just one blemish on their record so far, Doris, a loss at Duke.
Well, Linda Cohn threw an absolute softball in fact or fiction to Kara and Stacy, who are capable of handling a fast break.
They knocked it out, huh?
Will you go undefeated in the ACC? Any team will Carolina or Duke go undefeated? Absolutely not. I agree with both. Fiction. Those three teams only lost to each other a season ago.
Yeah, the Final Four a year ago was a ACC party. 3 out of the 4 teams from that conference. 5-point ball game. Waner hands it off to Waner, and Hornbuckle comes up with a steal. A 14th turnover of the game for Duke. Hornbuckle got it. When she gets that little bounce in her step, look out. She's feeling good. 12 points for Hornbuckle.
That's where she can be special. Creating in the open floor, using her size as a guard, her athleticism, and her ability to handle to create things.
Bales. Waner. Good help defense. And Anisicki controls for Tennessee.
What you want to see is if Tennessee can take the lead. We haven't seen a crack in Duke yet. You know, they've had to withstand a push. What you want to see is how do they respond if Tennessee gets the lead.
Parker and one.
Candace Parker is a very tough check, even with multiple defenders. Allison Bales looks like she might get a little bit of help. But when you're bringing Allison Bales from 12 to 15 feet away from the rim and asking her to defend, it is tough for 6'7" to contend with that. Crystal Langhorne has got the ability to take her off the bounce, and so does Candace Parker.
When you look at her unique blend of size and agility as she ties the game, she might be the one player that can revolutionize the way that women's basketball is perceived and played. An inscrutable mix of talent and agility is Candace Parker, all in one package. And that's going to be a foul against Spencer. 10:37 to go in the second half. We're knotted at 48. This after Duke jumped out to a 19-0 lead to start this ball game. Number 1 Duke undefeated coming in at 19-0. Tennessee at 17-1. They too on an impressive 11-game winning streak. I'm Mark Jones along with Doris Burke and Rebecca Lobo courtside. And this has been a stark contrast in halves. The first half, all Duke. But, Doris, it was important in the way that Tennessee ended that first half to build on it here.
8-2 run to end the first half. They got their sea legs under them. Mark started to play more aggressively on the defensive end, stopped turning the ball over, which they did in the first 5 or 6 minutes of the basketball game.
Well, you have to credit Tennessee for having the poise and temerity and resolve to come back the way they have from that kind of deficit. Would have been easy for them to be disheartened. Spencer. Like you said, Doris, Pat Summitt can live with that kind of quick shot.
No question. Sydney Spencer rarely steps out of her box and takes bad shots.
Harding out top. Oh, great ball fake. Off the dribble. Harding got a sweet touch and a roll. That thing did a little victory lap and then fell.
She is their rock, Mark. In tough moments, it's the 5th-year senior they're going to go to. It's a stagger screen out top, changes pace and direction, which is why she's able to get to the rim. The change of pace first, the change of direction to get by Parker.
Harding had 28 in that huge victory over Maryland earlier this year. And that was the 3rd foul, meanwhile, against Anisicki.
She's a comfort zone for her teammates. She's also a comfort zone for Gail Goestenkors, Lindsey Harding. You notice that stagger screen was set for Lindsey Harding in that particular instance.
Hornbuckle calling out the set.
Little zone here by Duke.
Different look. Parker came up short on the jumper. So Duke wins that little chess match at the defensive end. Waner cross court to Harding. Anisicki with the pull. Tennessee trailing by 5, under 9.5 minutes to play here in the second half. Tennessee trying to hand Duke its first loss of the season. And this is the last opportunity for any non-conference team to take down the Blue Devils before they get into conference play. Parker with the turnaround. Got it.
So they had gone zone. Missed shot by Tennessee. That time they go man-to-man, straight up one-on-one defense against Candace Parker. That's a lot to ask of anybody.
3-point ball game. Cross court to a wide open Wanisha Smith. She has been poised when she's been faced with open looks tonight.
She sure has. And who got her the basketball? Lindsey Harding.
9 points for Wanisha Smith. And after tying it up, they find themselves down 3 after that three-pointer by Candace Parker.
She's starting to percolate.
Yep.
Mark Jones.
20 points for her. Everybody talks about her 4 slam dunks and her finger rolls from just inside the dotted line in the key and her swooping forays to the bucket, but she's showing you the entire package now tonight. Waner, got to get a hand up, please. Butter. Straight butter, Abby Waner.
That is just too much. That is an incredibly confident kid right now.
Oh, no, she didn't.
She is 5 for 7. And how many of them, Mark, have been like 3 feet beyond the arc?
Those ones are deflating. Spencer with a little get back, but not quite. Out of bounds, Tennessee basketball. You talk about what a dunk can do for one team, ignite a team. What about a three-pointer of that distance? That from Memphis somewhere. Back after this.
The 3 weeks, number 6 Oklahoma, Texas Tech, Kendra Moore. Down low to Ashley Paris. That made it 46-42. It's now 57-49. Back to Mark and Doris.
All right, Linda, back here. Big Monday presented by Bud Light. And what a game this has turned out to. A heck of a run. Duke leading by 6 with 7:41 to go in the second half. And Abby Waner, before we went to timeout, hit a three-pointer. Doris, we're trying to do the math on it. The three-point line is 19 feet 9 inches. And she had to be a good 7 or 8 feet back of that.
She was on the E in Tennessee, folks. I mean, look at how far back she is. Look at the distance. And look at Nikki Anisicki, was very capable, folks, of guarding perimeter players. She's not going to go out there and check that. Whap!
That's like trying to contest somebody at half court. What for? But then you think, geez, maybe I should. 24 points, 3 shy of her career high. See how Tennessee responds coming out of this timeout. Spencer inside off the feed from Parker. Got it sent back, but a foul on Gay as we go courtside to Rebecca.
Well, Mark, no surprise. The entire Tennessee huddle was about Abby Waner. Pat Summitt said she takes no more shots. I don't care what you're in, you always guard her. She said no more traps. We're going to start hedging and going under the screen. We need 5 people committed to guarding her.
Yeah, that seems like it's going to take about that, Rebecca.
It's like the night Kobe went off. Somebody better put a hurt on Kobe. You better make sure Abby Waner feels some heat.
Parker with the crossover and the runner. Tough shot by Candace Parker. And a 6-point lead for Duke with possession. Duke has never lost its poise tonight, even though Tennessee came back to tie it. You see the three-point shooting in the second half in favor of Tennessee now. Bales inside. And who is that? Waner sneaks in to get the rebound. Smith. And Parker clears. Lead still at 6. Hornbuckle. And Anisicki hands it off, and Parker had nowhere to go. That's a tough pass. Pretty much put her in trouble off the pass, and that's the 10th turnover by Tennessee.
That's correct. That turnover may be charged to Parker because it went off her, but that's Anisicki. There were no spacing mark. Duke had done a nice job. Even if she was able to make the catch, there was nothing doing.
Six-point game. Harding behind the screen. They still haven't figured out quite how to play her on those, Doris. They've jumped out, they've hedged, switched a little bit.
Yeah.
Is there a plan D out there somewhere?
Well, you know what? This is a kid who's just so confident. Her three-point shooting her first 2 years was 19%. She has drastically improved that.
And Spencer counters with a 3 of her own. The lead back down to 6. Plenty of time left. 6:07 to go. Wanisha Smith packed and a foul. Foul is against Fuller, her second. Parker was in the area, but they whistled it on Fuller as Wanisha Smith will go to the free throw line. Smith, a 75% free throw shooter. Former freshman All-ACC 2 seasons ago. Doris, I can remember when she was forced to play the point guard position a couple of years ago because of the suspension to Lindsey Harding, and she did a nice job, but now playing her more natural position.
Yeah, she did a great job. You think about her first year at Duke, she went to the free throw line 100 times. She'll get to that mark again. Last year, not as many. She's versatile. She's the strongest perimeter player they have. Good size, can make the three, can go off the bounce.
Hornbuckle, a 3 ball, and the lead is 5. They got those 3 in a hurry. Coming back, 15 points for Hornbuckle.
Well, I've said that Duke has the #1 defense in the country. In the second half, they've been terrible against the three-point shot.
Interesting. The lead is 5. Duke basketball underneath. Inside to Bales, and Parker took it right away. Bales has been relatively quiet here in the second half. Hornbuckle, and she walked with it. A little bit of indecision cost her. Pat Summitt says that's okay. 11 turnover, meanwhile, for Tennessee.
Yeah, you know what? She's been such an integral part of what's been able to happen positively that you're going to give her 1 or 2 of those. And she's had a couple.
Duke is undefeated, 19-0. Tennessee with just 1 loss on the season. That was at North Carolina. Harding got ripped. Went right to one of her teammates. Redding with the rebound.
Good pressure on the rebound by Abby Waner.
Hornbuckle spins out of trouble. Pulled the string on the jumper. Candace Parker got it. And she'll earn a couple of free throws and came up off the dismount and got an 8.5 from the Russian judge. She even falls gracefully. Big Monday presented by Bud Light, continuing a great matchup coming up 9 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. A 9:07 tip, we're told now. Mario Bogan and the Cowpokes taking on Oklahoma. I believe they call it Bedlam. Candace Parker at the free throw line, 20 points. 9 of 19 from the field to go along with 9 rebounds and efforting another double-double. Parker a lot more active underneath. That is a good dismount.
Excellent.
I almost forget that she's actually closer to 6'5" than she is 6'4". Missed both free throws.
Wow.
At a costly time. Tennessee, Doris, just 6 of 13 from the foul line.
That'll hurt you. They've shot it 7 for 8 from the three-point arc. Duke has not done a good job defensively in the second half against them from beyond the arc.
Waner, yeah, got to get a hand up out there. Five on the shot clock. Bales. Wanisha Smith. And they did get a shot out.
Second time tonight. Shot clock violation.
That time, Doris, Tennessee seemed very mindful of stepping out on Waner on the three-point shot.
Yeah, what surprised me there, when the ball went into Bales, she had the dribble, and she needed to take the dribble to the rim. Instead, she took it sideways.
Duke in his zone here, so we'll see what Tennessee can get against it. Hornbuckle. Parker, nice feed inside. And a blown layup from Auguste. Foul against Duke, though, underneath. Timeout on the floor. Can't afford to miss many more of those. We'll be back after this. Down by 5 with 3:50 to go. Remember, Tennessee battled back to tie this game. They trailed by as many as 19 to start the game off. And when you look at what they've done over the course of history in terms of comebacks, the largest ever deficit overcome was 18 against Virginia back in '96. That win catapulted them into the Final Four and on to a national championship.
What I love that I've seen from Duke is that in the face of all this frenetic push by Tennessee to get back into the game, they've never cracked. Even when the score was tied, I wondered what would happen if they relinquished the lead. But Gail Goestenkors has remained calm throughout the side of this basketball game. I'm sure her stomach doesn't feel especially calm, but her persona, her presence has been one of calm.
Great play off the inbound, and Parker had a great look and missed the alley-oop. Boy, that was a nice play they ran, Doris.
Terrific, terrific play. A timing play, Mark. You start her in one place, curl. You had a good set there, Pat. Should have scored off it.
The lead is 5. Alexis Hornbuckle extending that defense against Lindsey Harding. More token pressure than anything else, though. They switch. Now double team Harding. And one. Bales finishing in a chance for the three-point play. Great teamwork on the pass.
Well, Lindsey Harding, unlike Tennessee early, when a double team comes, she has never panicked. Lindsey Harding, that's assist number 7 for her on the evening. To go along with 17 points and 3 rebounds, Mark, just calm under pressure.
Allison Bales at the free throw line. That foul was against Fuller. There's Bobbitt. 2-on-1. Hornbuckle had leaked out. And we get it back at the other end in the form of a layup. The lead still at 5. Very manageable. 3:20 to go. Hornbuckle with 17. Waner in the corner. Couldn't get that one. Parker clears. 5-point game. Tennessee trying to snap its 2-game losing streak against Duke.
And they're in this zone again, Mark. 2-3.
Fuller hands it off to Parker. Parker trapped on the baseline, out of bounds. Tennessee basketball with just 4 remaining on the shot clock.
Watch this, Mark. Over here, there's going to be a double team, but what you're going to see is patience. Bales is going to slip. Double team comes. Harding doesn't panic. Before they can get their hands up, she releases the pass, and it turns into an and-one situation.
Heck of a play. Bobbitt with 3 on the shot clock. Got a launch. Bales fouled on the rebound by Sid Spencer. That's a second personal foul against Sid Spencer. Duke with 16 fouls. And Tennessee with 6 fouls as well.
Great job getting open by Harding in between 2 defenders. Nicely done.
And Parker fouls Wanisha Smith. Came close, but still a foul. And that was the 17th foul against Tennessee. That'll put Wanisha Smith on the free throw line. That was the first foul against Candace Parker. And she found her groove offensively a little bit here in the second half after a rather slow start by her standards. Right now 9 of 20 from the field, 20 points. Wanisha Smith now at the line. Smith, a 75% free throw shooter.
Parker would have a lot more than that, Mark. Just 1 of 7 from the free throw line. She's got a double-double, 20 and 10.
A win today for Duke would tie the best start in team history at 20-0. They've done it a couple times before. Once again, Gail Goestenkors' crew seems ready to make a nice run deep into March. Spencer comes up with a loose ball. Still plenty of time, but they can't waste much. Parker gliding to the cup. And it's going to remain Tennessee ball. But Parker's played a lot of minutes, and we told you at the top of the show she is coming off a little viral infection and still taking a course of antibiotics to knock it out of her. Boy, what kind of play was that? Hornbuckle with a little okey-doke. It looked like she tried to bounce it off of the opponent.
I think she actually did throw it off the back of a defender who had her back turned from the basketball.
Leave it to Alexis Hornbuckle to come up with a play like that.
Yes.
Harding turns the corner. She is clutch.
Man.
Money. Cash. Lindsey Harding putting a knife right through the hopes of Tennessee with that play with 1:32 to go.
Well, I don't think that you can measure the value of any one of the key players for Duke. The MVP thus far for them has been Harding. She's made play after play tonight. She did it against Maryland. And normally I find myself, and it's a smart thing to do, is to agree with Carol Lawson in studio. She thinks perhaps Duke has peaked too soon. She made a comparison to North Carolina last year where they were blowing people out.
Right.
I still think there's room for improvement for Duke, believe it or not. I mean, I think they can get better offensively as well as they played tonight. They're under 50% shooting. And defensively, they don't rely solely, Mark, on turning you over. They can defend you in a lot of different ways.
A lot of variables in their successful equation. Here's a look at the Maryland game a couple of weeks ago. Bales anchoring the defense. Waner, the kingpin on offense with her three-pointers as Duke made it look relatively easy. I watched that game, and I mean, they were in control most of the way.
Yeah, they really tested the perimeter defense of Maryland. I believe North Carolina will do the same thing in our game Sunday.
North Carolina, Maryland coming up on ESPN2 on Sunday. We'll be there to call it for you. That foul's against Gay. That's her fifth. And they definitely did not want to stop the clock with 1:31 to go and a 7-point lead. You would imagine that's what Gail Goestenkors is telling Karim Gay right now.
Really like Gay's freshman season. She played last year. She had the subluxing shoulder. You see on the right shoulder, that brace, Mark, that's actually a different shoulder. She had surgery on the left shoulder. Now the right one is subluxing. But a very improved player. But that kind of mistake, because this is virtually her freshman season in terms of experience, is something you're going to live with.
Yeah. She is, her play, Doris, has taken some of the sting out of losing Shantae Black for a while. But she's going to have that shoulder probably operated on under the knife during the offseason. Fuller at the free throw line, meanwhile, for Duke. Pardon me, for Tennessee, down by 7. And this has been a horrific, deplorable night from the free throw line for Tennessee. Just 7 of 14, 50% on the night. Fuller makes the first. She's a 75% free throw shooter, 6-point lead. Bobbitt comes out, and Asicki comes in. And Asicki gets the rebound. Another possession, 3. Oh, Spencer had a great look. Who's this foul going to be on?
It took a long time for that whistle to blow.
Little arm wrestling there. Brittany Mitch is going to be whistled for the foul. And Asicki goes to the free throw line for Tennessee. That's the good news. The bad news, she shoots just 61%.
2 points, 10 rebounds for Nikki Asicki.
Five-point game. Spencer came back out. Looks like she's Coach Summit doing the offense and defense situational subs now. As is the pattern, 1 for 2 from the line. Parker inside, and the lead is down to 3. And a full court press now by Tennessee.
Yeah, and you have plenty of time here. Just make a good stop defensively. You don't have to do anything special here. There's so much time. You're talking about a one-possession game.
And Gail Goestenkors calls timeout for Duke. Duke's unbeaten season and 19-0 record, unblemished, Mark, on the line. 1:05 to go. Back to Linda Cohn.
Mark, just a reminder, coming up after this exciting game, yeah, the Giraffes are ready and so are the fans down under as live coverage from the Australian Open continues. Serena Williams in quarterfinal action against Shahar Peer of Israel. All that coming up after this exciting finish.
Pat Summitt talking over a little defensive strategy there for Tennessee. And if you're Gail Goestenkors with possession now, Doris,
yes.
What do you think? You think a little pick and roll, Harding and Bales? Or?
Yeah, they do a very good job running on-ball screens. We saw them when they needed a bucket earlier run a little stagger screen for Lindsey Harding. Wanisha Smith will inbound it. Got to believe you're going to set a screen for Lindsey. Let her operate out top, and there you go.
Here's Waner. Bales gives it back to Waner. 7 on the shot clock. Harding weaving through traffic. Waner with 2 on the shot clock. And it's a shot clock violation. 48.8 to go. We're tied. A basket away from a tie. A three-pointer away from a tie. Remember, Duke just one of 2 unbeaten teams remaining, along with North Carolina.
I think you got to go through Parker here on the offensive end.
Pat Summitt has substituted Sydney Spencer back into the ball game for her three-point shooting. Both teams with a couple of timeouts remaining. Now what do you do at the offensive end if you're Pat Summitt, Doris?
Well, obviously, your 2 people who've carried you all season long in terms of scoring have been Parker and Spencer. Hornbuckle's been sensational tonight. She's got 19, and her contribution could be off the bounce. But clearly, you've got one of the best players in America, the most well-rounded offensive game. You look to maybe put her back to the basket, try to get the and one situation. I still want to be as efficient as I possibly can, because on a miss here, Mark, I would foul. I want to lengthen this should I not score.
Remember, Tennessee's largest deficit ever overcome was 18 back in 1996 against Virginia.
And I'm not a big proponent, Mark, of necessary. If I get a clean look at a 3 with Sydney Spencer, that's fine. But I'm not a big, I got to get the 3 to tie it. I can go quick 2 and then foul if I need to.
Well, Bobbitt, too, is a pretty good three-point shooter at 41%. See if they run a little misdirection or something. Bobbitt launches for 3. Hornbuckle with the rebound and calls timeout. Tennessee now with 1 timeout remaining. Well, as I said, Bobbitt had an open look. She's a 41% shooter from downtown. That time just a little bit short. Hornbuckle shaken up. Let's go back to Linda in the studio.
Not the only exciting game in women's hoops going on right now. Texas Tech on the road against number 6 Oklahoma. And how about Chelsea Dabbs with a jumper putting Tech up 65-63. They're under a minute to go in this one. We'll keep you posted.
All right, Linda. Doris, what'd you think of that last play? Bobbitt with a three-pointer?
I mean, clearly from a percentage standpoint and what she did against Connecticut, she's capable from out there. But, you know, clearly they were looking to get Candace Parker.
Right.
Duke was prepared for that. They made her a passer, which is exactly what you wanted to do. Okay, now that it's down to 30, now if I can get a really clean look at a 3, maybe send Sydney Spencer off a stagger screen, but try to get a clean look at a 3. The reason I like Sydney Spencer as opposed to Bobbitt is 6'3" versus the shortest player on the floor against a very good defensive team in Duke.
Good point. A team that contests a lot of the shots that go up. Well, Bobbitt shoots 41% from downtown. Hornbuckle 38%. Spencer leads the country at 52%. And Hornbuckle limping a little bit coming out of that huddle for Tennessee. .3 to go. Duke trying to stay alive with respect to its undefeated season so far. Inside, Fuller. Parker missed the layup at point-blank range. Spencer got the steal.
Wow, stepped on the end line.
She almost bounced it off of the Duke player and got it back. but she was on the end line when she did it.
Yeah, this is Allison Bales being a little bit anxious. She does not see Spencer in deny of Lindsey Harding. And woohoo.
Oh, it hit her when she was coming back inbounds. That's where the violation took place. So 22.2 to go, and down by 3 if you're Tennessee. Do you foul?
Oh, absolutely. No question. First of all, everybody's in over deny. You're trying for the steal in an ideal situation. On the catch, it's got to be an immediate foul. In these circumstances, you try to get the worst free throw shooter on Duke's team. As a team, though, Duke, and here's where they can win NCAA tournament games, 75%. Right. Allison Bales is the worst starter and the worst by percentage in terms of minutes per game. She's only 67% on the season.
Reminder that action from down under, some tennis coming up next from the Australian Open. Serena Williams, one of the players you'll see. Williams making a nice run, unseeded through the tournament right now.
We've got Allison Bales in the game. Even though she's your worst free throw shooter, she gives you a nice safety net at 6'7".
Harding off the inbound pass. Mitch up to Waner. They give up a layup. A calamitous breakdown that time. A little bit too easy, way too easy. The three's good from Auguste. And with 6.1 to go, it's a 2-point game. No timeout there called. Brittany Mitch inbounds it. And we have a foul off the ball, as Hornbuckle looked like she grabbed Lindsey Harding.
Looks like she's in pain over there, Mark.
She's having a tough time moving around. But Doris, on that last press
breakdown by Tennessee. First of all, on the catch, I'm not sure why there's not a foul immediately.
Harding's got to make both of these to put it away, to make it a 2-possession game. If she makes only one, then Tennessee still has a chance. And 6.1 is plenty of time to get it down court.
16 home losses for Tennessee. Will it be 17?
Harding, an 81% free throw shooter.
She's a rock, Mark Jones.
Cool.
I mean, just as cool as they come. 7 assists, 20 points, 3 rebounds.
Now Tennessee going to try and ice her. Whatever good that'll do, I'm not sure, because she has been the picture of poise tonight, leading this Duke squad. And when you step back from things, you understand why at this point in the season, Doris, they're 20-0. You have a senior leader at the point guard spot, and I always believe when you have outstanding point guard play, especially when that point guard is a senior, and you have something in the middle, a variable like Allison Bales, also a senior, supplement that with some talented wing players. Duke's as good as anybody to win this thing this year.
Not a bad building block, is it? Well, I think you're looking at a player who could become the National Defensive Player of the Year, the first time in women's college basketball that award will be given. So I congratulate the WBCA for getting that done. Debbie Antonelli was an integral part of that.
This is basically to salt it away for Duke. Harding. It's a 4-point game.
Come with a little soft pressure.
Spencer uncontested, which is the smart thing to do defensively. And it's over. Duke improves to 20-0, tying the best start in school history. And Tennessee loses a rare game at home here at Thompson-Boling Arena, falling to 17-2 overall on the season. And that also snaps Tennessee's 11-game winning streak as we go courtside to Rebecca with Gail Goestenkors.
Coach Goestenkors, your team had an early 19-point lead. Tennessee kept coming back. What did you learn about your team today?
Well, we learned we've got great resilience. We had no doubt they would come back. They're a great team, great program. And so we withstood the storm. You know, I said they're going to make a run. That's okay. We'll make our own runs. We've just got to play with poise down the stretch.
You made it to the national championship game last year. You beat Maryland a week ago. Now Tennessee. How good can this Duke team be this season?
Well, hopefully a lot better than we were tonight, because quite honestly, we weren't very good.
I guess you must be talking about the second half. That first half was pretty impressive. Thank you so much, Mark. Back to you.
All right, Duke winning it 74-70. Lindsey Harding leading the way. Just 2 short years ago, she was banished, exiled to the sidelines. She strictly had to hang in there and come back. Coming up next, 2007 Australian Open. There's been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leaders in sports. For Doris, Burke, Rebecca Lobo, our entire crew, I'm Mark Jones. Right now we go to Melbourne, Australia for the Australian Open.